Emotional intelligence, understanding our emotions, and also by doing this, helping us to enhance our parenting skills. Now, let's begin. Okay, the first thing I want to bring to your attention is this. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and understand and also manage your own emotions as well as the emotions of others. So you can't manage other people's emotions, but you can have a direct influence depending on how you react and respond to others, because you can also impact their emotional well-being. And this is very, very important, especially if you want to develop meaningful and deeper relationships with your children or your child or your spouse. So it's about raising self-awareness. It's about regulating your emotions, because if you do not regulate your emotions, think of how much damage you can do by getting upset. Think of how much opportunities you can ruin. Think of how many relationships you can ruin if you do not regulate your emotions. Think of so many mistakes you could make just based on your reactions, your emotions. Think of how many opportunities that you have missed because of the fact that you have reacted, you was unable to regulate your emotions. Think of how many ideas you could have expressed because you wasn't able to regulate your emotions. Think of how many relationships you could have nurtured by regulating your emotions. So this is how important understanding emotional regulation is. It is very vital, because if we don't do this, like I've said before, you will end up destroying so many things around you in terms of opportunities, in terms of just people around you. If you're wondering why relationships are breaking left, right and center, you look around you, it's because people are not able to regulate their emotions. Now let's delve deeper. So why is emotional regulation so important? Well, it helps to govern our behaviors. It helps to improve our communication skills. It helps to nurture stronger relationships with our children, with our spouse, with our nearest loved ones. This is why it's important. So what are the components of emotional regulation? There's one is self-awareness. Secondly, self-regulation. Then you got social awareness and relationship management. Let's go through each one step by step. So the first one is to recognize your emotions. When you are in an interaction with someone and you're getting heated up, you need to draw yourself back in, and you need to really take heed and think, okay, hang on a second, what's happening inside me? Why am I getting upset? Why am I responding the way that I'm responding? Do I even need to respond the way that I'm responding? Is there a better way of me looking at the situation, or implement certain actions that can create a positive outcome? And that could just be through words, things that I say, or even my tone of voice, my body posture, my whole demeanor. How is it coming across? Am I able to regulate my emotions? Yeah, so this is all about I can't even say the word, introspective work. This is where you do internal work and try to figure out and have internal conversations with yourself to figure out what's going on. You hold yourself back. You have to restrain yourself. And the way to restrain yourself is by listening more and speaking less. And when you do this, you're able to regulate your emotions. This helps by not reacting or giving a response so quickly. You don't have to do that. You can pause, you can think, you could not even give the answer there and then. You don't even have to give them that direct answer. And that direct answer could be in an argument. You've just heard something that triggered you. You don't have to respond. You don't have to give an answer. Just hold yourself back. Because when you're able to do these things, you're able to regulate yourself better. So the whole idea of emotional regulation is about taming yourself, taming your reactions, taming the time when you feel like saying something, but you don't. And is it really important to say that thing that you want to say? Is it really important to really prove your point? Is the situation warranted? Can the situation or the person make do without your input? Is it really that important? Do you really have to speak at that moment? Or would it be better to allow the other person to speak? So this is what emotional regulation is about. It's about how you control yourself, your urge to speak, your urge to react, your urge to just respond rapidly. You're on autopilot. So many people like us, like me and you, are on autopilot. When someone says something, we get easily triggered. Why? We don't have to respond that way. We don't have to react that way. We don't even have to take it to the level of emotion. Why can't it just be calm, understand, listen? Don't even respond. Just try to sympathize and empathize, understand where they're coming from, and understand what led them to that opinion and why are they saying what they're saying. Because when you understand this, you don't need to respond, you don't need to react. So it's about developing that awareness. And how do you do that? Like I've said before, it's to reel yourself back, hold yourself back. All right, so let's look at the benefits of emotional regulation. When you train yourself and you condition yourself to not respond or react straight away, you actually learn how to deal with conflict a lot more better. And your resilience in terms of when life doesn't go your way, when challenges arise, you're not quick to react, you're not quick to respond, in a sense that you allow your emotions to govern you. You don't break down easily, you don't break, you're calm, you're trying to understand things, you're having good communication to have a deeper understanding with people, to get different perspectives on the situation. This is how beneficial emotional regulation is to really manage your emotions. And I'm going to keep on stressing this throughout the video. The way to do it is just shut up. You don't have to express yourself with people each and every time. You don't even have to express yourself when life is going hard, when challenges arise. Just say nothing. Hold back. Think. Allow the brain to just digest what's happening. Analyze, reflect. This is what we ain't doing enough of, and we need to do this because this will build up resilience. This will build up our conflict management skills. This will also enhance our relationships. So let's start practicing this. And the way to do it, first and foremost, is within the family, with your children, with your spouse. Now, one of the tips I would like to bring to your attention, and what I'd like to share, is just to get in the habit of mindful reflection. Take a bit of time out, because we're getting caught up with so many things that are also not important. We think they're important, but on the grand scheme of things, are they really important? Take a bit of time out. That's one. And also reflect and learn with others. Now, what do I mean by this? When you start reflecting and talking about what's on your mind and what's on the other person's mind, you start to understand each other's perspectives, but coming from a place of calmness, not coming from a place of attacking. This is the best type of reflection, when you're reflecting with someone that is coming from a place of calmness, coming from a place of that I want to improve, I want to learn. And the way to get to that place is you have to start the pace. You have to become that person. You have to become more calmer. You have to become less reactionary. You have to become more mindful about how you're coming across, and really understand what's happening inside you in regards to your emotions. We're just on autopilot, reacting time and time again. And we have to hold back. We have to really train and condition ourselves, tame ourselves from reacting. And the other thing that I'd like to bring to your attention about emotional intelligence is to accept feedback. Sometimes what could come across as criticism or spite can be your biggest feedback for your improvement. Take it as feedback. When someone said something that triggered you, take it as feedback. Look into it, because maybe there's some kind of truth. Don't take things as an attack, because guess what, guys? Guess what? Fathers. Not everyone knows how to communicate. Not everyone's been trained to regulate their emotions. And this is a learned practice that we have to take heed of and learn about. Because if we don't learn about these things, we're having breakdowns in our relationships. We're having breakdowns in our life. So the person who you're speaking to or is speaking to you is in the same boat as you. Not everyone has the privilege of this kind of education or the kind of mindfulness in terms of how they're coming across and regulating their emotions. Not everyone can do that. And it takes time, it takes practice, it takes years to develop these skills. But you can be one of them. You can be one of those types of people who knows how to regulate their emotions. Lead by example, because when you lead the way, people will copy. People will copy your demeanor. People will copy the way you communicate, the way you carry yourself. They'll mirror it. If you are wondering why you get into arguments or you react, is because you've not taken heed and controlled your own emotions. When you learn to control your emotions, you get better outcomes, better results. You minimize conflict. You learn how to understand people from a deeper level. Your life, perception of life, is more richer because you're not in constant reaction. So I encourage fathers to take feedback, even if it hurts. Just take it, absorb it, learn from it. Okay, so just a quick recap of what we've spoken about. In order to develop emotional intelligence, the first thing that you need to do is learn to shut up. Learn to be quiet. Just train yourself. How? By putting yourself in these types of environments where usually you would react, usually you'll respond. That's the first one. The second one is when someone's talking, let them finish. And also ask yourself, well, do I really need to add my input into it? Is it really warranted? And then we've also discussed about the benefits of emotional regulations, how it can impact the quality of your relationships, your outlook on life, your results, your responses, your behavior. Because if we don't take heed, then we're breaking things. And this is one of many of the things that causes depression, anxiety, and stress. It's our inability to take heed of our emotions.